I did kind of speed through a couple of them. We're now going to attempt to finish off our dailies, which is cast blue and red spells, cast black and red spells, and attack with 30 creatures. Now we could go into Brawl games and just play our green and red deck. And that would definitely be a way of getting all of these. But by getting these, I earn 1,750 coins and some experience. And so I can use... Ooh, do I use the 5,000 coins to get 1,750 coins? Probably. Do I then get some gems and packs for winning with it? So yeah, I think we're going to go with this because we can convert some into gems, which we can then use to do drafts in the future. So we enjoy a quick draft. Outlaws of Thunder Junction is the cowboy themed set, is the easiest way to describe it. It's the cowboy themed set. We have a bunch of the mechanics, so we draft against AI with no waiting time and no pick timers. So I can kind of talk through a draft. We build a 40-card deck with what we draft. And the archetypes for this set, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, is white-blue, take a break. You use the plot mechanic to just hold on to a bunch of your cards and use cards with flash, so that you don't cast things on your turn, basically is what the white-blue stuff does. Blue-black is crimes, and crimes are abilities on cards that care about you targeting your opponent's permanents, or your opponent's graveyard, I want to say. The red-black archetype is outlaws, so creatures that are assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks are all outlaws. The red-green mechanic is power 4+, so any creatures with power 4 or greater. It also likes using mercenary tokens to increase the power of your creatures. The white-green mechanic is mount. So mounts are a type of creature that use the saddle mechanic, and you tap creatures with an amount of power equal to the saddle to then make the mount creature saddled, so it then triggers its own abilities by being saddled. The white-black deck is an attrition deck, where you just want lots of little creatures that are very aggressive and you trade them off by sacrificing or blocking or however it is. You have expendable little creatures. The blue-red mechanic is second spells, so it wants you to sling multiple spells in a turn, preferably 2, and also use the plotted mechanic to cast a spell for free that you spent earlier by using plot. We have black-green, which is creatures in graveyards. It kind of cares about different types of cards in graveyards, I think, as well. Red-white is mercenary aggression. So it wants to use mercenary tokens and creatures that are the mercenary creature type to just hit in quickly as much as possible. And then finally, green-blue is also the plot mechanic. So mostly it's outlaws, mercenaries, and crimes, and the plot mechanic. Yeah, mercenaries are outlaws. So it's outlaws, plot mechanic, committing crimes, and then other little things like the mounts or spell slinging in different things. Now that I've done that rundown, I need to double check what colours I'm going for. Red, blue, or red, black. So we want red primarily, and we want to attack with creatures. So red, white would actually do quite well with just a lot of casting red spells and attacking quickly. So we'll jump into the quick draft. And that's a nice first pack. Given that I said that I wanted red, we open a red rare in the Great Train Heist. So this has a mechanic specific to this set called Spree, which is, you can see the little plus symbol in the top right corner. It means that you spend a red to cast the spell, Plus, you can get extra additional abilities if you spend the extra manas in the text box. You get that additional effect. But you can do each of them once. So if you just cast this spell for red, it is just an instant that does nothing, which is kind of pointless. But if you cast it for red, and just red, you get the bottom mode, which is choose target opponent. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player, you create a tapped treasure token this turn. So for red, it's a card that would commit crime because you target your opponent. It makes you treasure, which helps you ramp. As you can see here, a treasure token taps to sacrifice itself to add 1 mana of any colour. They do come in tapped, which means you don't get to use them immediately, but it's good ramp for the next turn. It's also an instant, which means you can do the spell slinging, casting 2 spells in a turn. You can cast a spell and then you can just spend red to cast this for no effect. A different mode is you can spend a red and 2 to give creatures you control +1/+0 and first strike until end of turn, which is quite good for just turning sideways with everything, which is kind of what we're going to be doing. And for 2 red, you can untap all creatures you control, and if it's your combat phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. So you can either do it in an opponent's turn to get yourself all your blockers back, or you can do it in your own turn to have another combat afterwards, which is pretty useful. You can also use multiples of these, so you can, for instance, for 4 red, you can untap all your creatures, have an extra combat after this one, and all your creatures get +1/+0 and first strike. Or for 4 red, you can do every single mode, so you also get all the tapped treasures on top of having your second combat, on top of all your creatures having first strike. So that's a very good spell. The way draft also works, it's not going to show me this unfortunately, but you get 3 packs, and you draft 1 card and then pass the pack along. So we start off by passing it round to our left, then the second pack we will pass around to our right, and then the third pack we will pass around to our left. So because there are typically 8 people in a draft pod, if we pick this, the second person will pick something from the rest of this pack, then it will go around the table and they'll keep picking more of these cards until it comes back round to us with 8 cards missing. So when it comes back round, we can likely pick something like maybe a Vengeful Townsfolk, or an Explosive Derailment, or maybe a Harrier Strix, or perhaps one of these other lower down cards, because probably all of the uncommons will be gone by the time it comes back round to us. But we're definitely picking the Great Train Heist, because it leaves us open while still going into red. We were past a Caustic Bronco, which is one of the mount cards, but not in green-white. So it kind of shows the saddle mechanic. It is a snake horse mount. It also looks horrific, because snake horse is very odd. For 1 and a black, it is 2 power, 2 toughness. It has saddle 3, so you can tap 3 power worth of creatures to saddle it, which you can do as a sorcery. And whenever it attacks, you reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. You lose life equal to that card's mana value unless this creature was saddled. If it was saddled, each opponent loses that much life. So it draws you an extra card when it attacks. If it wasn't saddled, you take damage equal to the extra card's mana value. So, for instance, if you flip over this Desert's Due, you would lose 2 life, and then put Desert's Due into your hand. If it was saddled, all your opponents lose 2 life, and then the Desert's Due goes into your hand. So pretty good, but I don't know if it's what we want. It is a rare, but I think we want to go for, especially with this pack. Looking at the last pack, most of it was white. Looking at this pack, there are still quite a lot of white cards in here, like Holy Cow, Prosperous Tycoon, Armored Armadillo, Mystical Tether. We've got a Rodeo Pyromancer, which would keep us open, or we've got a red-white land, which commits a crime, because when it enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. So lands that commit crimes in this set are quite funny. I would be tempted to go straight into white now, but I think the better choice is to pick the red card and kind of stay open as to what our second colour will be. It's often a good strategy of just being like, I'm going to stick with this colour and see what happens. So pack 3, there is no rare in this one because at this point all the rares from the first set of packs have all been taken. We have one of the special cards. There is sets of bonus cards with the little jail mana symbol rather than the little hat. They have alternate frames. They are the Prosperity postcards. That's okay, you are absolutely fine. I'm just sort of explaining how a draft works and kind of going through stuff for the Outlaws of Thunder Junction set. We are currently in red because we first picked the Great Train Heist, and then we grabbed a Rodeo Pyromancers in the second pack, in the second card of pack 1. We're now in pick 3. The manga recommendations, I believe it's called Area D, but also Bunny Doubt, or Rabbit Doubt, sorry. And like Chainsaw Man and One Punch Man mangas are all really good. Those are the last 4 mangas I've read. Do we stick with red and grab a Deadeye Duelist? It's a 1/3. It can deal 1 damage to target opponent, so it's good for committing crimes. Has reach, so it's a decent blocker against things. It does keep us open. Maybe I do just stick with red for the moment. Okay, we got a big scorecard, which is the little vault set symbol. Territory Forge. It's a mythic. When it enters, if you cast it, exile target artifact or land. It has all activated abilities of the exiled card. It has all the activated abilities of the exiled card. I don't know what artifacts are in this set. For a 5-drop, it's not that great. It's not that exciting. It would keep us in red, which our only other option for that would be Scorching Shot, which as a sorcery deals 5 damage to target creature. It commits a crime. It is quite a lot of damage. And for red, when I have the Rodeo Pyromancers out, I cast it and then get the 2 red back, which is pretty good. I don't think Territorial Forge does enough in this set. I haven't really been paying attention to artifacts that come round, but in this pack alone, the only artifact it would be able to copy is Lava Spur Boots. And because it just gets the activated abilities, all it would do is it would have equip 1. So you spend 1 mana to equip it, but then it wouldn't have any of the rest of the equipped creature gets +1/+0 haste and ward 1. So it would just equip and then do nothing, which for 5 mana is really bad. I think this is a trap, and we're not going to fall into it. So I'm going to grab... Do I grab the Scorching Shot, or do I grab this Rogue that makes treasure? Do I jump into a second colour yet, or do I grab this Mercenary that taps down a not mount creature and jump into white instead? There's been a lot of white cards going round. I think we grab Scorching Shot and stick with mono red for the moment. Okay. This pack has very little white. It does still have a white card, but has very little white. There's a second Rodeo Pyromancers, which is nice. Having 2 of them out is kind of funny because they're decent blockers. They're mercenaries, which is relevant. And whenever you cast your first spell each turn, you would then get red, which basically just makes your second spell free, because with 4 red you can cast most stuff. Like even this, it would become 1 white mana to cast this. So you could Scorching Shot, get 4 red, and then cast this for white, as an example, which is very good. There's Outlaw's Fury, which is an instant. With creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. If you control an outlaw, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you can play it. So it kind of draws you a card that you have to use in the next couple of turns. It buffs all your creatures, and Yeah. But it only kind of draws you a card, because if you don't have an outlaw, it doesn't draw your card. But given that my two creatures so far are an assassin and a mercenary, both of them are outlaws, which would be fine. Or we've got this resilient roadrunner, which is part of a 2-card little joke that got added to this set. It is this and Cunning Coyote, I want to say. And the resilient roadrunner has haste. It is a 2/2 for 2, and it has protection from coyotes. And for 3 mana, it can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. And I believe Cunning Coyote is also a haste creature that has protection from roadrunners or from birds. Or I don't remember. I don't remember what the other card does, but it's meant to be Wile E. Coyote and roadrunner. It's kind of funny. But I think I'm going to go with the Rodeo Pyromancer. Stick to red, have the option of big spells. This is where we might have to pick a second colour. Or we could grab the train. Because Reckless Lackey is okay. They're not bad. They're a Goblin Pirate, which makes them an outlaw. For 1 mana, they are a 1/2 with First Strike and Haste. And for 3 mana, you can sacrifice them to draw a card and make a treasure. So they're actually not bad. We've got a Murder with an alt art, but that's in black. We've got the Train, which is when it attacks, you create a treasure for each creature that crewed it this turn. It has crew 1, but you activate it only once each turn. So you can tap all your creatures into it, or as many creatures as you want, but you can only do it once. So you can't just be like, I tap 1 creature, I tap a second creature into it, I tap a 3rd creature into it. You have to pick then and there how many creatures are getting in the train. The train then goes. But it ramps you a bunch. It only costs 5, which means if I have 2 Pyromancers out, it will cost 1, and then make me a bunch of treasures, because I'll use the 2 Pyromancers to crew it, to then make 2 treasures when it attacks. Could be nice. I don't know if I want it. You know what, I'll take it. I'll take it anyway. We'll see how it goes. We'll put a locomotive in there. Now this is a very red heavy pack. We've got the red-blue land, which we could take to go into blue. We've got another resilient roadrunner. We've got a Mine Raider, who is a 3-drop, 3/2 trample rogue, so an outlaw. And when it enters, if you control another outlaw, create a treasure, which our 3 other creatures are currently outlaws, so pays for itself, basically, or helps pay for itself. We've got a Return the Favour for a spree card with red as its base, which one of our Rodeo Pyromancers would pay for, which is quite nice. And then for 1 extra, it is copy target instant spell, sorcery spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. You may choose new targets for the copy, which is pretty good because I can spend a bunch of mana into the Great Train Heist to get it, and then spend 3 extra to copy it. Alternatively, you can spend 1 to change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. So if someone goes to destroy one of my creatures, I can spend 3 and redirect it to one of their creatures. It's pretty nice. We've got the Bandit's Hall, which is whenever you commit a crime, you put a loot counter on the Bandit's Hall. This ability triggers only once each turn. It taps for mana, which helps mana fix when we pick what our second colour is going to be, but currently we're just in mono red. And for 2 and tap and remove 2 loot counters, you draw a card. Now we've currently got the Deadly Duelist that commits a crime and can do that every turn. The Great Train Heist can commit a crime because it can target our opponent with the bottom mode. And Scorching Shot commits a crime. The Rodeo Pyromancers don't, and the Locomotive doesn't. But currently that's quite good. We also have Trick Shot. For 5 mana, it deals 6 damage to target creature and 2 damage to up to 1 other target creature token. Weird. Not worth it, I don't think. I think we want to go with Return the Favour. And that's veering us more towards the Spellslingers deck, which is the blue-red deck. But currently we don't have any blue cards. but currently we don't really mind because we still have options. We could jump into black, for instance, and go more mercenary focused. We've got the only red card in this pack is Highway Robbery, which is 1 and a red. You may discard a card or sacrifice a land. If you do, draw 2 cards, and it has Plot for 1 and a red. And Plot is at sorcery speed. Plot is at sorcery speed. You can spend the 1 and a red to kind of exile it and put it to the side, and then on a future turn you can just play it for free, which is quite nice. You'd still have to discard a card or sacrifice a land to draw the 2 cards, but free spell is nice. If I can free spell with 2 Rodeo Pyromancers out, I just make 4 mana, which is pretty good. We've got the Silver Deputy, who is a 2-drop mercenary, 1/2. When it enters, you search your library for a basic land or a desert, reveal it, put it on top. Less good. But then it has the mercenary ability of tap target creature you control gets +1/+0, activate only as a sorcery. Then we've got a desert that's not in our colours, and a colourless desert. Target creature can't block this turn. I think we'll stick to red for the moment. We're still in pack 1, but we are very red heavy. So this is the point where we now have to pick our second colour, or just grab a do nothing card. So our options now are either we go with blue and we just grab like a cheap creature or a counter spell. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Or we go into green and grab Dance with the Tumbleweeds, which searches for a basic land or a desert card and puts it onto the battlefield, then shuffle, and can make a big elemental. But I don't really know if I want those. I think I just grab the Essence Capture in the off chance that we go into red-blue. But I'll bring it down here into my sideboard because we probably won't play it if we go into a different colour. Like this. So we've got red-white. We've got Prosperity Tycoon, who's a 4-drop 4/2 human noble, so not a mercenary, or not an outlaw, but he makes a mercenary token when he enters, which is an outlaw. And for 2 and sacrifice a token, it gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. So it's difficult to kill. Or we've got this little armadillo. It's a 0/4 for 1. It has ward 1, and for 4 mana it gains +X/+0, where X is its toughness. Or we've got another blue card, where it's a vigilant 1/4 that gets +2/+0 as long as you've committed a crime this turn. I've got some crime committing stuff. Maybe that's just fine. It's a rogue, so it's an outlaw. But maybe I want to grab the land and go more into red-white. Oh no, all the white cards have gone. Uh-oh, we should have grabbed a blue card. So we don't really care about any of these. Create a treasure token until end. Turn up to 1 target creature gets +2/+2 for each treasure you control. That's not bad, actually. Creature with saddle. Creatures you control gain trample. When it attacks, target creature defending player controls gets -3/-0. Or a land that we don't care about the colours because it's all completely wrong. I guess we just grab a Gold Rush and put that in our sideboard as well. Lava Spur Boots is fine. Ooh, we got the Outlaw card background. We can grab that and put that in the front. And then a mountain. We can just stick that in. We now have pack 2. We start off pack 2. And our rare is High Noon, which is a rare that was really bad. I got so many of these and never played any of them. For 1 and a white, it's an enchantment with each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Which admittedly kind of shuts down some decks that your opponents might be playing. But it's each player. So if you're also trying to do that spell, that deck, you also don't get to. So like my Rodeo Pyromancers, I would cast a spell and then have 4 mana to do nothing with. like I could do the 4 mana to plot this highway robber, or use 1 of the mana to deal 1 damage to my opponent, or re-equip the Lava Spur boots, or use its own ability to blow it up. But it's not great. That's all I'm going to say. It's not great. Not a great card. We've got Emergent Haunting. At the beginning of your end step, if you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, and it isn't a creature, it becomes a 3/3, in addition to its other types. And that's forever. So it just turns into an enchantment creature. It becomes a 3/3 spirit creature with flying, in addition to its other types. Yeah, it becomes an enchantment creature, and it always has the ability of 2 and a blue, surveil 1. Not really what we're doing in our deck. There's a repulse, which is return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. So it's like the unsummons that we played, but it also draws you a card, but it also costs more. So it's alright. We've got a Servant of the Stinger. When it's got Death Touch. When it deals combat damage to a player, if you've committed a crime this turn, you may sacrifice it. If you do, search your library for a card, put it into your hand. So it kind of tutors. It has Death Touch. It cares about committing crimes. It's also an outlaw. We've got Baron Bertram Greywater. Whenever 1 or more tokens you control enter. No, whenever 1 or more tokens you control enter, yeah. Create a 1/1 black vampire rogue creature token with lifelink. This ability triggers only once each turn. And you can sacrifice your own creatures to draw cards or artifacts. That's not bad, actually. If we had been going into white up to this point, I would have immediately grabbed this guy, because he's pretty good. But at this point, we're very heavy into red. So I don't know if we want it. Oh, we've got Former Posse. For X, red, white, sorcery. You create X 1/1 red mercenary creature tokens. That's probably just good. If we cast a spell like the wherever it was, highway robbery, out of the plot zone, it casts nothing. And then we get 4 red off the 2 rodeo pyromancers that we then just immediately spend into this with all of the rest of our mana to make a bunch of mercenaries. Probably just want that. It's probably just a funny card to... Ooh, we have a red, rare, Hell to Pay, X and a red. Hell to Pay deals X damage to target creature. Create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt to that creature this way. So it's a big burn spell that you just dump a bunch of mana into, and then it gets you a bunch of treasure back. Pretty good. We've also got Demonic Ruckus, which is an enchantment aura that enchants creature, has plot as well, and it gives the enchanted creature +1/+1 menace and trample. And when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card. It's not bad. We've got this lizard. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, it deals damage to that player equal to the number of non-creature spells they've cast this turn. We're going to be casting a bunch of non-creature spells, so we don't want that. And Prickly Pear is a mercenary that comes in with another mercenary. Not bad. But I think we want the Hell to Pay. I think we're nicely going red-white now. We can leave that Gold Rot and Essence Capture in our sideboard. We're not going to use them. Although Commandeer is nice. Double rare pack. Smuggler Surprise. We've also got a Requisition Raid, which is pretty good. +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Destroy target enchantment, destroy target artifact. So that's good at committing crimes. It also puts a counter on all my creatures, which is nice if I'm going wide. We've got Quick Draw, which is 1-drop instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0, +1/+1 and gains first strike until end of turn. Creatures target opponent controls lose first strike and double strike until end of turn. Pretty nice. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature against lifelink indestructible. Also pretty nice. And a plot card that gives creatures you control +1/+1 and vigilance when it enters, but is not a mercenary, is not an outlaw. I might just want the Requisition Raid for committing crimes. We've got another Demonic Ruckus. A Trick Shot. Deals 6 damage to target. We already saw that. That's not great. Sterling Keykeeper. Probably. Tap target non-mount creature is technically committing a crime. We've got a desert, a desert, a desert. But that desert cares about mounts. That desert picks a colour. That desert is green and red. Could help us splashing green if we needed, if we wanted to play the Gold Rush. We are doing a bunch of stuff that makes treasures now. Like we've got Hell to Pay that makes a bunch of treasures, the Luxury Locomotive that makes treasures. That's where we had something else that made treasures. Great Train Heist makes treasures. We've got a few things that make treasures. Or we've got the Iron Fist Pulverizer. 4 and a green. 4 and a red, not green. Giant Warrior. So is not an outlaw. It's 4/5 with reach. Like I was talking about earlier, random red guy with reach. He doesn't even have a chain. He's just a big guy. But he can kill birds because he can. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, he deals 2 damage to target opponent. He commits crimes, and then you scry one. Maybe he just gets it. He's just a big guy. Second big guy. Or outlaw card. Or deserts. Or this Dwarf Artificer at the beginning of your end step. If you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, and it doesn't have a flying counter, it gets a flying counter. Not very exciting. Humiliate, we are not in the colours for. So maybe we just take second big guy. Yeah, I think we just take second big guy. Ah, there's the Coyote. Cunning Coyote. It does not have protection from birds. So for 1 and a red, it is a 2/2 with haste. When it enters, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains haste. And it also has plot. So it can kind of jump out of nowhere. We've got the Gold Pan, which when it enters makes a treasure, equips for 1, gives equipped creature +1/+1. Not bad, kind of half pays for itself, does treasure stuff. We've got Explosive Derailment, that for red and 2 deals 4 damage to target creature, for red and 2 destroys target artifact, helps us commit crimes. Rakish Crew. We already have 3 white cards, so we're not really able to splash into a different colour. Unless we just completely drop it entirely. So when it enters, it makes a mercenary. Whenever an outlaw you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Nope, I'm not really doing that. So I think we just grab the Explosive Derailment. Thunder Lasso. When it enters, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. When equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Do crimes have to be... No, that should commit crime. When it attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Should be committing a crime. So I think that's still committing crimes, and so can get in the deck. He's back again. I still don't know if I want to splash black. He's very good. Whenever 1 or more tokens you control enter. That also counts treasure tokens. Like if I make treasure tokens, he makes a vampire. He can also eat treasure tokens to draw me cards. Or I just take this guy, who makes a treasure. Or I take this. Griffin. Flying, 3/2 for 4. When it dies, you make a mercenary. I think I put Baron Bertrand in my sideboard, in the hopes that I can splash black at some point. Target opponent discards 2 cards. That's a black card again. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Commits a crime. Raid. If you attacked this turn, create a treasure token. Maybe we should take the ruckus. Stagecoach security. Creatures you control get +1/+1 on vigilance. That's pretty good. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 with first strike. And then creatures your opponents control lose first strike and double strike. We'll take the stage. Another demonic ruckus. We'll throw it in there. Fake Your Own Death can go down here. Outlaws Fury can go in there. Pack 3. We've basically got a deck already because the rest of it has to be filled with lands. No, we're like 2 cards short, 3 cards short of a deck. I do like that this prairie dog is a squirrel. I approve. It's very silly. At the beginning of your end step, if you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on prairie dog. And for 5 mana until end of turn, if you would put 1 or more counters on a creature you control, put that many +1/+1/+1 counters on instead. So if I use this ability and then cast Requisition Raid. Wait, if I cast Requisition Raid as a sorcery for 2 and have 2 Rodeo Pyromancers out, I get 4 red mana. And then I spend a white and the 4 red mana to activate this ability in response to the Requisition Raid. Then I put 2 counters on all my creatures. Kind of silly. Not good, but kind of silly. What else have we got? We've got another Hell to Pay, which is pretty good. We've got an Outlaw Medic, who is an outlaw, has lifelink, 1/3, when it dies, draw a card. Not bad. We've got a Thunder Salvo for 1 and a red instant, deals X damage to target creature where X is 2 plus the number of other spells you've cast this turn. That's pretty good. If we're casting a lot of spells, that's pretty good. If we're just doing like the occasional big spell, that's not great. So I might grab the Hell to Pay, because that's also a removal spell, but it's in the rare slot, which makes it slightly better. And it generates treasures, which is nice. We've got another Iron Fist Pulverizer, another Resilient Roadrunner, another Luxurious Locomotive, another Armored Armadillo, another Outlaw's Fury. Tempted to take train number 2. But that one would not be a good idea. Or it's Pulverizer number 3, which is not a good idea. Or Outlaw Fury number 3, which probably is also not a good idea. So maybe we just take the Armadillo. Yeah. We've got a Irascible? An Irascible Wolverine. When it enters, exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. It has plot for 3. We have a Sterling Hound, which is an artifact dog for 3. When it enters, you surveil 2. We have another Stagecoach security. We have another Armadillo. We have a Scale Storm Summoner. When it attacks, you create a 3/1 red dinosaur creature token if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. I don't think many of my creatures have power 4 or greater. I could make the Armadillo have power 4. Nope. 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 Yeah. Yeah. And then that's it. Oh yeah. We've got 4 creatures. 4 creatures that have power 4. Not really what we're doing. We have Caught in the Crossfire. For 3 mana, it deals 2 damage to each outlaw creature. Which I don't think kills any of my creatures. It kills my Sterling Keykeeper. But it doesn't kill the Duelist. It doesn't kill the Rodeo Pyromancers. It doesn't kill the Security. It doesn't kill the Pummelers. It doesn't kill the Train. Or for 1 red, it deals 2 damage to each non-outlaw creature. Which then doesn't kill the Keykeeper anyway. Sure. I do love Fibblethip, especially in his little cowboy hat. He's just a very fun card. He cares about the plot deck, which we're not in, unfortunately. We've got a mount that gives menace for saddling. We've got a prickly pear, which is a mercenary that makes a mercenary. We've got a thunder lasso again. I think we just grab a prickly pear. Ooh, another land, so for some more fixing, that's quite nice. Desert, another highway robbery, Wolverine, stagecoach. I think we grab the land again. We've got Iron Fist Pummeler. We've already got 2, that's fine. Gold pan, not needed. Welcome back with food. Very good. We've got an Outlaw Medic who, we've got a Skewer the Critics, which has Spectacle, which is a mechanic not from this set, but it cares about you having your opponent already lost life, which will be very easy to trigger because we've literally got a creature that does that. And then it deals 3 damage. That's just a good card. I think something went wrong in this pack. There is 2 of the same uncommon legendary. It's a very funny uncommon legendary. It doesn't go into our deck, but I would be tempted to grab one and then build a deck around it outside of this. Cheesy pasta. Very good. Jolene, Plundering Pugilist. She's a 4/2 for 3. When you attack with 1 or more creatures with power 4 or greater, you make a treasure. And for 1 and a red, you sacrifice a treasure to deal 1 damage to any target. But specifically, she deals 1 damage to any target. Yeah. Cheesy pasta is very mousy. We've got another Sterling Keykeeper. Another set of Lava Spur Boots. I don't think I want any of these. I think my deck is pretty much done, unless we find some nice stuff in the last few picks. So I'm just going to grab the Jolene and put her in the sideboard for potential future decks. Ooh, we have another Caught in the Crossfire. We have another Rodeo Pyromancer, which I'm tempted just to take because I quite like the card. Or another Stagecoach. Just grab another pirate and see what happens. Another Boots, another Medic. I might just grab a Medic and put it in there. Another Outlaw's Fury, a Resilient Roadrunner. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. And back for more. I just grab a. This town ain't big enough. Grab the Heartless Pillage. I'm just chucking stuff in my sideboard at this point. Tornado. And the island. And then, now that we've finished the draft, we get to build the deck. Because you pick... Ooh, we get 5 pack progress. Nice. So these are the cards that we chucked in our sideboard. We didn't really get enough fixing for Baron Bertram. Other than a bunch of the treasures that we could make. But we have to make 6 cuts, because currently our draft deck is 46 out of 40. So I would be tempted to make our deck as low to the ground as possible by cutting some of these bigger cards. Form the Posse can technically be a 3-drop, so it's actually like up here. Hell to Pays can be a 2-drop, so it's actually like up here somewhere. It doesn't do as much when it's smaller, but it's versatile, so they're nice. Luxury Locomotives might just be our end game. The Pummelers care about what we're doing with trying to cast 2 spells, but they're not Outlaws. I don't know how focused on Outlaws we actually are. I'm going to flip it to this mode. I don't think we've got a lot of Outlaw Matters stuff. We just want to be going wide. Yeah, I don't believe we have a bunch of Outlaw Matters stuff. That can go down here because it will basically always be there. If we drop, and technically I want to get something out of this, so that can go there. I want to get something out of these, so they can go there. So that's roughly what our curve will look like, which is a decent curve, but we do have to make 6 cuts. So we have to cut something. We can cut a Sterling Keykeeper, because it's not removal. It shuts down a thing, but also if we pick Mercenaries for our Caught in the Crossfire, it kills it. And we also don't want the 2 Demonic Ruckuses. We can get rid of those. That's nice, simple 2 cuts. I don't think we care about the Stagecoach security. Technically it goes here. Difficult to pick. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I'm currently on 27 cards. But some of these are actually, like Return the Favour actually needs to be here. Caught in the Crossfire actually needs to be here. Great Train Heist realistically needs to be like here to do something good. Or maybe here to do something good. Explosive Derailment is actually here. Requisition Raid is actually here. So that gives us a better indication of where our spells are actually lying in this curve, which is still not bad. I don't know if I need the boots. I think I can cut those. Don't think I need them. I don't think I need 3 Pyromancers. And so now that we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25. Means we need 15 lands. Which is playable. How complicated is Magic the Gathering? Very. Very, very complicated. I'm just building a deck, and I've spent the last maybe hour doing a draft to now look at a deck and be like, I don't really know what I'm doing at this point. I think I just cut one of each land, and that puts me at the 40 card draft deck. That's probably fine. Do I really want to put Baron Bertrand in? Because I kind of really do. He does draw me cards. He is useful. What would I cut for him? Maybe if I cut the Sterling Keykeeper. I have no fixing for him. I have like some treasure making stuff. Very little treasure making stuff. I have very little treasure making stuff. What makes treasures? 2 health pays. Train heist. Train. Yeah, I have very little. What would I say the most complicated game I've ever played is? Of Magic or just total? Because my brain kind of works with Magic. So it doesn't confuse me as much. But from an outsider looking in, Magic is definitely the... I can sit down with people who are really smart and who understand board games and who are really good at board games. And I sit down with them and go, cool, we're going to jump into a game of Magic, so this is how everything works. And they look at me like, I'm lost. And I'm like, I haven't even finished explaining how the basic game works, let alone going into like individual rules within the game. So like the basics of the game and like how a turn works, what the kinds of cards are, the steps and phases of the turn. and how you go about winning a game. And I can lose people with that before I even start going like, okay, this is what the term outlaw means, where it's creatures that are assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks. They are all outlaws. Or this is how spectacle works. Or this is what crew means. I can lose people very quickly. It's an outlaw deck that wants to make treasure, but is really bad at making treasure. Tough luck. Tough luck, bud. It's my tough luck deck. It'll attempt to do something. And I think I'm done with the draft. I have built. Tough luck. Yeah. So the basics of a game, of a basic standard format game of Magic the Gathering, is you and an opponent both have 60 cards. Of those 60 cards, you realistically want like 23 lands? I haven't played Standard in a long time. Like 23 lands to the rest of your deck being spells, be it creatures, instants, sorceries, enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers, battles, other types of spells. You use your lands to cast spells. You can play one land a turn, which you can only do during your main phase. And your turn lays out as the beginning of your turn, where you untap all of your tapped permanents. You have your upkeep, so if anything triggers in your upkeep, it triggers then. Then you draw your card for the turn. You then go to your first main phase, where you can do any sorcery speed actions that you have the mana to be able to do, and you can play one land. You then go to combat, where you can declare any creatures that can attack that you want to attack with as attacking. If you have any attackers, your opponent that you are attacking can then choose to block with any of the creatures on any of the creatures that are attacking. You then go to damage. Creatures that are blocking each other, or creatures that are being blocked, and the creature that is blocking them deal damage to each other. Any creatures that are unblocked deal damage to your opponent. This is how you knock their life total down and how you go about winning the game. You then have a post-combat main phase, where once again you can do any sorcery speed actions that you want to do. And then you have your end step, where you clean up any floating things that might be going on until the end of your turn, and you discard down to your hand size, which is 7, as the base game goes. And that's the outline of a turn. Your primary way to win is to knock your opponent's life total to 0. And in a game of Standard, you both start at 20 life. And that's the basics of Magic the Gathering. That's how the game works. Instant speed cards can be done whenever. And there are abilities that can be done whenever. So for instance, you'll have jump back into the deck again, you'll have like a creature like our Deadly Duelist, who has spend 1 mana, tap them, deals 1 damage to target opponent. That can be done at instant speed, so you can do that. You can declare them as a blocker, and before damage is dealt, you can spend a mana and tap them to deal 1 damage to your opponent. And then damage will be dealt, and they might die, or they might not, or whatever happens with the combat that you've decided to block them with. And you'll have other abilities that they just happen when thing happens, and these are just called triggered abilities. The Deadeye Duelist is an activated ability because you can see the little colon in the rule. And you also have keyword abilities like Reach, which are abilities that are kind of default to the game. But that's the overview of Magic the Gathering. There is then like 30 years worth of history in which every single card does something different, and there's lots of rules that are all interacted into and built into the game, and they all interact in different ways, and there's a lot of weird little corner cases where something interacts with something in a certain way that it then doesn't work properly. And then there's a bunch of cards that mess with the base rules of the game, like allowing you to play an extra land, making your lands tap for extra mana, allowing you to draw cards when it's not your draw step, making it so your opponents can't untap all their permanents. There's lots and lots of stuff. But yeah, the learning curve on Magic the Gathering starts off at that, and then just skyrockets upwards the more you play. The format that I normally play is called Commander, where you typically play with 4 people at a table, and you all play with 100 cards. And this is not a great hand, but if I draw a land, it'll be fine. Knowing full well that I cut 2 lands from my deck and really shouldn't be keeping this hand. Yeah, there's a lot. So Commander, yeah, you normally have a face card like we do in Brawl, the format that I have been playing on here previously. You have a face card who is your commander, and they give you colours for what your deck can be. And you then have 100 cards outside of that, of which typically about 40 are lands and 60 are spells. But you can average that. Like, I've got one deck that runs like 10 lands and 90 spells, but that's because every spell in the deck costs 1 mana. So you can run the entire deck off 3 lands for the whole game if you need to. It's a very fun deck. It's very silly. The commander of that deck is a dog. We've got a Razzle Dazzler. Human wizard. When you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it can't be blocked. They're also playing blue-white. So probably in the plot deck with blue-white. But yeah, there's a lot to this game. There's a lot of things to learn, and it can get very confusing. And even like very enfranchised players who know a lot about the game, you can mention specific words to them that are just mechanics that exist in the game, and they will go, "Oh gosh, not that, please don't talk about that, because it's confusing and I don't get it." For example, if you were to sit down at a group of a commander game and go, "Okay everyone, this is my deck, it revolves around the mechanic banding." And anyone who knows Magic the Gathering, who just heard me say that word, probably just gave a little bit of a shudder, where they're like, "Oh god, not banding. We hate banding because it's confusing." It's not confusing. There's just a lot to it, and people don't like it. So it's kind of funny. I kind of should want to treasure actually. I care about these when it enters. Second spell. 1, 2, 3. Shoot that guy. Pew! That gets me a treasure. I'll attack with both of those. My Outlaws. The fun parts of this specific set is I just get to go, "Hey, Razzle Dazzler, there'll be hell to pay." And then I shoot him with a hell to pay. And I mug him and take his treasure. And I get to pretend to spin my pistols and put them back in their holster. Ooh, Esoteric Duplicator. This would be really good if I didn't have a Requisition Raid in my hand. Ooh, so spree works like this. So I'm going to destroy target artifacts. I want to get rid of that. I'm going to put a counter on my creatures. Pay 3. That's my target for the artifact. I'm the target player. I pay the 3. I get 2 because I cast my first spell. Blow up the thing. I put a counter on all my stuff. I now have 2 mana floating. and that red and the treasure. But I'm just going to cast my prickly bear, who comes in and makes me another mercenary. Oh, I've also made them lose life because I shot them with my land. So I can also skewer the critics their creature, treasure. Oh, this has been a gross turn. And then just turn sideways and hit a bunch. I think I've won. Good game. Can you kill all my creatures? If not, you're probably dying. You play a frog. Cool. I play a land. I 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Tap on my mana. Make a bunch of mercenaries. I get 2 red, but I'm not going to use the 2 red for anything. I just turn sideways. And they die, because they have to block here most, and they still take 7. But they just don't block, and they take it all. And I win a round. Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Other examples of things that you can say to make enfranchised players of Magic the Gathering cringe or be disgusted is if you ask them to explain the card Chains of Mephistopheles. Because that card is very old and it doesn't really make sense. It does make sense, it's just worded weirdly because it's so old that it was before they sort of laid out how the game works fully, so they hadn't come up with a bunch of the terms that exist in the game now. So it's worded to be practical, and it means someone looks at it and it's just a full, like, 3 paragraphs of text on a card, and it just doesn't... It's not straightforward. Ooh, get to start with some bluffs. King my opponent. Very cool that they've got the... Oh, make sure I have a block of that. You committing crimes over here? Somebody's out here committing crimes. Yep, committing crimes. What are you going to take from my hand? Probably the Scorching Shot, I imagine. Yep. I'll block. I'm okay with that. Pulls me a card when he dies. Don't want to cast either of those cards for no value. That would be bad. Binding Negotiation. Radio Pyromancers and hope they don't just have another kill spell. Which they probably do. But that's... Oh. They destroyed their own Vadmir to draw 2 cards. Ooh, Rattleback Apothecary. 3/2 with Death Touch. Whenever they commit a crime, target creature they control gains Menace or Lifelink until end of turn. Be tempted to skewer the critics, which will then get me 2 red mana. And then I can use that 2 red mana plus the 2 that I've still got to plot the stagecoach. Ah, they sacrificed it. But that's okay. I wanted it dead and it died. Although I don't get the skewer the critics, I'm fine with that. Plot the card and hit them for 3. Now I've got this for a quick team buff if I need it. Ooh, that's not good. Touch target creature, quick creature, plus 1 is tap target creature to play equals. Not great. Do I want to make 3? Do I form a posse of 3 guys? Yeah, I'll form a posse of 3 guys. And I'll offer the trade. It wouldn't even be a trade if they just blocked, they would have lost it. So I'm okay with that. Skeletons and zombies you control. Get +1/+1 have menace. Whenever you commit a crime, you create 2 tapped blue and black zombie rogue creature tokens. This ability triggers only once each turn. Gift of the Hellraiser is a good card. It's a mythic, you'd expect so. So now, I want to cast that for free. And then I get the 2 red mana. It gives +1/+1 to the team. And then I use the Great Train Heist with all of its modes to get as much damage in as possible in 1 turn. Because I'll get the 2 red, which will pay for it and the bottom mode. And I'll have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'll be able to pay all of its modes. That's okay. I can tap that down when I attack. Still gonna nice them though. It's a very cool move. Oh. Desert's Jude, one of my mercenaries. I'm not blocking. I've got better plans. Bigger, better plans. Target opponent. Untap all creatures you control. If it's your combat phase. Oh. Almost cast that way too early, but I kind of needed to for the 2 red. Whoops. I don't need to give them the first strike. So I just need red, red. And then 1, 2, red, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 mana left, so I can do Prickly Pear. This'll be fine. This'll be fine. Go to combat. Attack. I tap that down. Now I cast it. And we pick that mode and that mode. Target opponent is them. And I pay for it. And we GG them where we turn sideways and we just get a big old untap everything and then get the combat and swing and yeah, I'll target Megissa and then it will get countered. And I kill them. Pew pew. When you ran in with a rodeo posse and shot them all. The Great Train Heist happened and they died. In true swinging fashion. I get another 100 coins, another 275 experience, and I'm on 2 wins. So the thing about quick draft is you draft against the AI, and you play until you lose 3 times. So if I can get to 7 wins with no losses, I get 950 gems and 2 packs. I'm currently on 200 gems and 1 pack. But we're not doing too badly so far. I'm not sure how far I'll get. Ooh, nice. They've got an Eowyn character picture, profile picture. I can keep this. I don't know how likely it is to get an Iron Fist pulverizer. But I'll keep it anyway because the armadillo should be able to defend me. Hopefully. Oh, I'm going first. I'll play the bluffs and Q at them. Q! Play silly cowboy mode and just go pew! I knew they were playing white. What are they up to? An outlaw medic. I could just shoot their outlaw medic. But that's not great for me. It's either I stop them gaining life repeatedly, or I shoot them. But I lose value if I shoot them now. If I wait, and I can drop the rodeo pyromancers, and hopefully that will stop them attacking me. They didn't even attack me. We're fine. They didn't even want that life. Oh. That's okay, we've got a requisition raid. Into the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves. So I've got those 2 modes. That's the enchantment. I'm the player. You pay the money. Shoot that. This route, and I put a counter on my creatures. Nice. It all worked out. Now I play the pulverizer. And I get 2 red. I could use the 2 red and this to shoot their creature and then hit them for 5. Or I could use the 2 red and this to give my pyromancers +2/+0. No, both my creatures +2/+0. And because I control an outlaw, which I do because of my pyromancers, yeah, go with this one. Spell, so he shoots for 2. Scry that to the bottom. Then I get to pick a card that I can play until my next turn, and attack for 9. And they throw their little gun at 5. I draw the card. Good for me, I can play Prickly Pear next turn. Ah, they were in 2 colours, but they didn't have green. Ankle Biter. I play my Prickly Pear. Get 2 mana back. And then Health Pay their Ankle Biter. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoot the Ankle Biter for 4. Because now I deal with the opponent. I will scry that to the top. Draw the thing, make 3 treasures. And sideways for 9. And they scoop. Good game. This deck is mean. It's kind of mean. For a bronze tier game, admittedly it's bronze tier because I haven't played with this account yet. These are the first ranked games I'm playing. Ooh, Troyan. Gutsy Explorer. 1 green, blue for a 1/3 Videlcan Scout. You can tap to add green, blue. Spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 5 or greater, or with X in their mana cost. And blue and tap, draw a card, discard a card. We're currently 3 wins to no losses. Can we get the full 7? Are we getting maximum value? I also need to have a break at some point. I get too into Magic. I start playing and I just lose track of everything else that's happening around me. Other than making sure that I keep narrating. Because if I stop narrating, then you've got to be worried, because that means I'm very far into the tank. Sure, this could be a bad hand, but we'll keep it. We're on a winning streak. As long as we draw some lands, we'll be fine. As long as we draw some lands, we'll be fine. As long as we draw some lands, we'll be fine. Nice. Outlaw medic with a lasso. As long as we draw some lands, we'll be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have to discard a card anyway. So I may as well just shoot that guy for 1. As I would have to discard a card regardless. Phew. Hello. Don't mind me, I'm just not drawing land. We're all good. Ouch. Well, I can't cast any of these. Time to discard some cards. Goodbye, Stagecoach. You're good, but not useful at the moment, because I need land. See, sometimes this sort of thing happens. Okay. Then I duelist. They can attempt to defend me for a bit. Holy cow! It's a holy cow! Ox Angel. Flash time when it enters you. Gain 2 life and scry 1. Right, it can't defend me because they've got the lasso. Ouch. That's game. That's game. I can destroy target artifact. Keeps me alive. Unless they have another lasso or a removal spell or 5 mana in white. Which I can pretty much guarantee they will. Yep, there we go. Good game. My first loss was I kept 2 land hand and then drew no land. Wait. Oh, I got rid of the lasso. I'm not dead yet. I guess I'll cast this for 0. Yeah. I did it. Now I'm dead. I got an extra turn to cast 1 spell. It did nothing because I could pay nothing for the X, so I died. And on that losing note, I'm going to take a break. We'll be back at, say, past as normal. Hopefully we can pick up a win streak again and get towards the 7 wins. But we now only have 2 losses in the tank. I need to not keep a skeptical hand again. Or maybe I do. Maybe I just risk skeptical hands all the time and not get punished for it. Would be great. But sometimes you get punished for it. So there we go. Yeah, we're going to take a break for about half an hour. I'll be back at past. I hope you all have a nice time